Hey everybody, Dr. G here. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and body language expert, and today we're going to be analyzing Kouri Richins. Kouri Richins has been accused of murdering her husband Eric Richins with a large dose of fentanyl. The truly unusual part about this case is that she went on to write a children's book with her children about how to deal with grief and loss, even including illustrations of their father. Before we get started, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, let's go. What we're going to be analyzing today is Kouri Richins' interview with Good Things Utah about the book.
Kouri, I want to start with your story. What happened in your personal life?
So my husband passed away unexpectedly last year. So it's March 4th was a 1-year anniversary for us, and he was 39. It completely took us all by shock.
So right here you can see she's pursing her lips. We oftentimes do this when we disagree with something that's being said. She disagrees with her own statement because it may not be true. Let's go back and listen to that again.
And he was 39. It completely took us all by shock. And we have 3 little boys, 10, 9, and 6. And, my kids and I kind of wrote this book on the different...
We do this face when we're uncertain or when we don't know something. So when she's talking about why she wrote the book, assuming that she actually committed this murder, her reasoning for doing it is not going to be what she says. And so she's trying to say, I guess this is why we did it.
Emotions and grieving processes that we've experienced last year, and, hoping that it can kind of help other kids, deal with this and kind of, find happiness.
And as you can see, she's struggling to describe what it could do for other children because that's not the real motivation for it.
Some way or another.
And to make sense and process, I'm
Yes.
sure. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you felt that going through. And
now one of the interviewers provided her with a much better answer. So you may be asking yourself, why would somebody do this? Why would they write a children's book after the murder of their husband? If she is in fact guilty of the things that she's been accused of, that would make her a psychopath. Murdering the father of your children for money and then writing a book with them, that would be clear signs of psychopathy. So let's talk about why a psychopath would do this. Well, there's a number of reasons that we're going to go through, but the first one I want to talk about is image management and manipulation. One of the primary tools of psychopaths is manipulation. And if you're writing a children's book with your children, you are manipulating them. You're also manipulating the perception that other people are going to have of you. It's going to make you seem compassionate and caring. And so image management and manipulation are 2 big motivators for psychopaths.
for you and your boys.
Yes, exactly. And so I've done, I'm new to all of this, so kind of doing, research and reading books.
It's possible she's doing this research because she's trying to give off the emotion she's expected to feel. She may lack genuine empathy, but has enough understanding of societal norms to know that she should be sad, that she should be showing this.
Things to try and understand, not only how to grieve as a widow, as a wife, but also, with my kids, how to help them,
Control is incredibly important to psychopaths, and by guiding her children's grieving process, she maintains complete control over how her children grieve and the narrative around that.
And what I have kind of found is, as I mentioned, it's kind of the 3 C's is how I...
All right, so we're going to get into the 3 C's. But another thing I want you to understand about why I think she's using the 3 C's and why she's doing this, psychopaths don't understand right and wrong the way that most people do. They have a distorted understanding of these things. And she's trying to teach her children in a detached way how to handle emotions because she may not be able to process them herself. So this may be a misguided way to help them understand emotions, control their emotions, and guide the process.
Has visualize it, and it's connection, continuity, and care, and it's making sure connection is the major one, and making sure that their spirit is always alive in your home, and memories are always brought up, and doing things that your loved ones love to do, whether it's riding bikes or their favorite dinner. He's not present here with us physically. That doesn't mean his presence isn't here with us, and he's doing these things with us, and he's here for birthdays, and he's here for Christmas, and and it's just comforting to them to know that they're not.
She's very specific to say comforting to them. It's not comforting to all of them. It's comforting to their children. She does not include herself in that.
Living this life alone. Like Dad is still here, it's just in a different...
So she says that he's still here, and as you can see, she's sneering. She doesn't like the idea. She's contemptuous about it. As I've talked about in other videos, You can see emotions on both sides of the face with all emotions except for contempt. Happiness, sadness, it's all bilateral. It's on both sides of the face. Contempt is unilateral. It's one side. So when you see a sneer like this, you know that someone is feeling contempt. Let's go back and watch her say that again.
To know that, they're not living this life alone. Like, Dad is still here. It's just in a different way, a different version.
Well, I opened up your book, and one of the first pages I saw is a little boy. It looks like he's standing in a hallway at school, and he's saying, "Are you still here?"
Yes.
And I just have to say, I think anybody's going to have this reaction, but how remarkably cruel is this? It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's, and that was like the first day of school, and, all the nerves that kids face on the first day of school with new, and just hoping, Dad, like, walk with me, like, help me get through.
And if you really process what she's saying, she allegedly murdered their father, and now this child is having to go alone through the first day of school without it. It's really just inhuman.
Today, like, give me the strength to do that. To really remember that in the back of their head, that they're never alone,
And you get the sneer again. She hates this idea that they're never alone or that he could still be around.
Remember that in the back of their head, that they're never alone,
So you actually wrote this book with your children.
I did.
And it's only been a year. How did you write a book and help others?
I just watched the struggle that my kids were going through, and I actually...
If she in fact committed this murder, this could be her own way of exploring these emotions that she doesn't understand herself, like loss, grief, all of these things.
And I just could not find anything. I couldn't find anything that really, suited them or helped them find comfort and peace. And so, I was like, let's just write one. And so, I took things that my kids have said to me this last year, and we kind of articulated it and put it into a story, and, just have hopes that it will help other kids.
Grief is not linear, and this sounds like it's a touchstone when you need it to come back to for you and your boys. So the first one you had mentioned was connection of the 3 C's, keeping the person's spirit alive. The second, continuity.
Yes, and
So continuity is probably the one that's most important to her. Grief and loss are not something that she's going to experience the same way as other people. So continuity for her, life continuing as normal with the loss of her husband, is going to be a very important message. By focusing on continuity, she's using this as a tool to make sure her kids don't dwell and to move on quickly from the loss. Even if she's saying to still think about him, she's trying to say, yeah, but don't let it disrupt your life.
From school or community activities, just, trying to stay in a routine as much as possible.
So pressing her lips together or withdrawing her lips a bit shows that there's something about care that she doesn't want to say. This, I would think, would be something that she has feelings about, something that makes her stressed, maybe because she doesn't understand it.
Is care.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So, on top of just loving your kids and hugging them and kissing them and, extra cuddles and everything.
So as far as care goes, for someone who lacks empathy, they may focus on care because they believe it helps keep other suspicions at bay, because they don't really truly understand care the same way that other people do.
I think it's important that I've learned to really affirm, their feelings. When they're mad or they're sad, it's just that affirmation of, I understand, like, that you are upset, because of this, like, let's talk about it, and so I think really it's not, it's the emotional and physical touch of it, but really letting your kids understand that why they're feeling the way that they.
So she focuses a lot on emotional and physical touch because that is a concrete concept. If you don't feel empathy, you know that somebody getting hugs may be what they want or what works for them. That's an easy thing for people to understand. Just like a smile is easy for people to understand, that makes people feel happy, we oftentimes know that touch is a way that people like to be cared for. But people that don't feel genuine empathy are going to struggle with things with more nuance.
That they are feeling, and it's okay, and let's deal with it and talk about it.
There's a promotion right now. Get a free copy of the book April 30th and Touching the Lives of Others.
Thank you. I really appreciate being here. So,
thank you, Kouri.
The analysis today would operate under the presumption of someone who actually committed the murder. We'll find out as she goes to trial whether or not she's found guilty. But in the meantime, I hope this helps you better understand that if she did this, here's some of the reasons that would be behind it, and here's why she would write a book about it. Last couple of quick things before we get done today. One, I'm working on a course right now. If you want to get on the wait list for that, it's in the description below. Second, just wanted to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, thanks for watching.